Welcome everyone to JADEC's product training webinar on our two new products, the EL6e Rain RFID Smart Module and the Elara Rain RFID USB Finished Reader. My name is Justina Valencia and I'm part of the marketing team at JADEC North America. On the line today, we have our presenter, Annika Matas, and our special guest, Dan Ratner, who is our senior technical engineer. Dan is on the line to help answer any technical questions you may have. Please feel free to type in your questions during the webinar into the Q&A window located to the right of your screen so I can read them aloud to Annika and Dan at the end of this presentation. Please also make sure you're typing your questions to me, the host, Justina, to ensure your questions are seen and read. If we run out of time, we will work directly with you via email to ensure all your questions are covered. Next slide, please. So a little background about JADEC. JADEC is a business unit of Novanta. We specialize in machine vision, RFID, barcode, printing, and computing products, providing both off-the-shelf and optimized product solutions for medical device manufacturers. Since being founded in 2000 in Syracuse, New York, we quickly grew to be the Tier 1 supplier to the world's top 10 medical device manufacturers and now employ approximately 200 employees globally. Now, as this map highlights Novanta's global locations, JADEC's locations include the Americas, the Netherlands, China, and a recently new shared Novanta facility called the Novanta Center of Excellence in Munich, Germany. As far as Novanta, Novanta's highly engineered component and subsystem solutions and deep expertise in advanced photonics, vision, and precision motion make them a global technology partner of choice for medical and advanced industrial OEMs. While Novanta provides innovative and enabling solutions with photonics, vision, and precision motion technologies, JADEC falls into the middle vision technologies group. And now here's my favorite part of the presentation, introducing you guys to Annika and our special guest, Dan. Annika Matas joins JADEC as a senior product manager for our RFID product line. Many of you on the line may be familiar with her. She comes to us from Zebra with over 10 years of experience in the automatic identification and data capture industry. A true California girl, Annika received her master's in engineering and an MBA from Loyola Marymount University. Now, as far as our talented and ever so technical guest panelist, Dan Ratner, he has worked with the ThingMagic line for over 11 years. He began as a product manager for the ThingMagic modules and later worked as a principal systems engineer where he managed customer support and product documentation. Dan works out of our Bedford, Massachusetts location and has much to offer as far as RFID system design. So please feel free to pick his brain today. At this time, I'd like for everyone to ensure your lines are muted so we can begin the presentation. Annika, please take it away.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you. And as Justina mentioned, I am joining this very early morning from California. And since it is so early, I'm working out of my home office. And in case you hear any background noise, just wanted to let you know in advance and bear with me. What I'm going to go over with you today is the EL6e and Elara key features and value proposition. We'll get a good look at the products from a technical perspective and from a positioning perspective as well. What are the key target use cases and the ideal scenarios where each of those products can be used? I will cover the configurations that we have made available so you have a good understanding of what's included in each of the SKUs. As well as the associated pricing. The ThingMagic portfolio has grown, so we will talk about how the two new products fit into our portfolio. And you'll hear some new terms, perhaps new terms, such as RAIN communication interface. I will briefly describe what that is and how it's really useful for these new products and what are autonomous workflows. There's new tools available for EL6e and Elara as well. We'll talk about ThingMagic configuration tool. And then finally, and very importantly for you, we'll cover what are some of the marketing and sales tools that we've made available for your teams so that you can start to sell and promote these products. And as Justina mentioned, please continue to type in your questions as we go along. We'll make sure that we have time to answer them at the end of the presentation. And if anything gets cut off because of our time limitations, then we'll work with you individually to get the answers. Justina talked about Novanta and JDAC, but if you're newer to us, you may be wondering what's ThingMagic. And just to summarize, JDAC is a business unit of Novanta, but ThingMagic, which is a name that has been around in the RFID industry for a very long time, is our brand for our RFID product line. And if you've worked with JDAC for a while, you may also know some other brand names, such as SkyTech. SkyTech came from our HF RFID portfolio previously. We no longer use that brand name. So today, ThingMagic is really synonymous for our entire RFID portfolio. And as we focus on the reader side of the RFID technology, from us, ThingMagic really symbolizes the engine inside RFID as a central reader component. And how we want to work with our partners is to really proudly offer that well-trusted ThingMagic brand of RFID modules and readers. And together, our goal is to enable customers to develop uniquely tailored solutions by extending their technical expertise in RFID and their engineering teams. JDAC, and I know that you do the same as well, we provide peer-to-peer problem solving through the life cycle of the customer's application as they're designing, as they're going through obsolescence. And unlike any other detection and analysis provider who primarily offers off-the-shelf products and support that ends at implementation, we really aim to take the burden off the customer by taking on as much, or in some cases as little, of the design and implementation and sustaining work as the customer requires. So with that, what are the 5 reasons why I would recommend for somebody to choose either the ThingMagic Elara or the ThingMagic EL6e? The EL6e is unique in that it's one of the first fully developed embedded RAIN RFID solutions available. It includes a reader module. It includes an optional antenna that can be plugged straight on the board. And it has all the interface and processing capabilities needed to RFID enable an application and really helps to cut down the engineering time. And Elara, on the other hand, this is our housed USB plug-and-play reader. It's an all-in-one plug-and-play solution that also has all of the capabilities included to RFID enable applications without having to redesign the system. So customers that are already working with existing solutions that they would really like to enhance with RFID would be able to do so with an Elara type product where they don't have to worry about opening up and redesigning their software application, and the same goes for their hardware constraints. And the way that we do that is by simplifying RFID integration through the RAIN communication interface. This is a new interface that standardizes communication with RAIN RFID readers in a very developer-friendly JSON-based interface language. The readers also come with a selection of pre-programmed application settings. We are calling these autonomous workflows. And those are available for most of the common use cases that people try to use these types of readers for. And that allows the users to operate the products without having RFID expertise, without having to use SDKs or integration tools. And last but not least, what makes the products really plug and play is the fact that we can provide the data through the keyboard emulation mode. And that allows data transfer across different platforms without the need for a custom application interface. The result of all that is that we can reduce the system cost and we can offload software resources from the host to the reader. And of course, for Elara, what's really important is that it's a fully self-contained reader. And for any of you that are working in healthcare environments, the enclosure is made of healthcare plastics, so it's very suitable to be placed in a hospital setting. Again, how to tell the difference and really position each of the two products individually. There's a lot that they have in common, so we'll be talking about them side by side today, but they have an individual value proposition. Elara is really our plug and play USB finished reader that allows easy addition of RFID. And when we're talking about the types of scenarios that it goes into, we're really targeting mid and short range applications. This is not a long range inventory taking type of a reader, but really mid and short range applications. It is based on the ThingMagic Nano, so it's based on some very proven technology. And it's an API-free and driverless desktop or wall-mounted RFID solution for any application that fits within that read range. To the right, we have some high-level product specifications. The size of the product, it's nice and compact. It comes standard with USB interface only. On the reader, we also have two user indicators, so two LEDs, as well as an audio buzzer. So every time that it successfully reads a tag, you get that auditory feedback that operation was successful. We can provide maximum read range up to 2 meters. By default, it's actually tuned down for desktop application, but it can be adjusted up, so we can go up to 2 meters. And for read rate, the maximum read rate is approximately 65 tags per second. Since it's based on our ThingMagic Nano module, max RF power goes to 27 dBm. The antenna is fully integrated inside the enclosure. It's a circular polarized antenna. The Elara is really focused on a single protocol. So it's a Gen 2 reader based on the RCI interface. And it comes standard with 4 workflows. And we will be talking more about what the workflows are and what they do, and what additional capabilities might be available. And the keyboard emulation capability is standard with the reader. The EL6e, on the other hand, is more than just a module with a board associated with it. Really, this is a smart module. And what a smart module is an all-in-one system that enables easy integration of embedded RFID into OEM designs. We talked about medical applications before, but this can be used in different types of embedded situations. It adds the interface and operability features that help to minimize design efforts for engineers to quickly embed an RFID module. So somebody that's looking for still that mid to short read range and is looking to embed an RFID system into their design can be 90% of the way to their end solution as far as RFID is concerned by utilizing the EL6e. So the goal really here is simplify and improve time to market for the customer. A lot of the product specifications are similar in terms of capabilities. In terms of interface for the EL6e, we also have RS-232 configuration available. And on request, we can provide configurations for I2C and the SPI interface option as well. It still comes with the LEDs and the buzzer. Read range is the same. Now, the antenna is optional here. So the antenna can be mounted on the board the way that you see on the picture. And we provide an antenna option for the EL6e, which I will show you in the next couple of slides. But the antenna does not need to be plugged onto the board. It can be placed elsewhere. So read location is not necessarily where the board is mounted. And still comes with 4 workflows and has the keyboard emulation capability similar to the Elara. I've been talking about the scenarios that these products would work well with alongside of discussing their features and capabilities. But to help bring it all together, because we're dealing with a mid to short range reader, and module, really the ideal scenarios where these products can be used fall into the following buckets. a customer that's trying to do bulk reading of a small set of items. In the healthcare space, you can think about it like a surgical kit. But in other applications, any small batch or kit of items where you're trying to identify what's included inside that kit is an ideal type of scenario for the products. The second type of category is when you're looking for a specific item, so more single item level discrimination. But whereas in the traditional sense, if somebody's asking for item level discrimination, we would opt to recommend an HF reader, but the customer might be unhappy with the read range that HF can provide. Here we can recommend a UHF reader that provides significantly more range, but we still have a workflow intended to pick up a specific tag, the tag that's closest to the reader. So one single item in that mid to short range application. The RFID adoption as far as tags is concerned is definitely been growing very rapidly over the last years. The RAIN Alliance has shared some very nice stats about number of RFID tags being used in the industry, but in many cases, manufacturers are still not applying tags to items as they are received into the end customer's facility. So tag commissioning or adding RFID tags to an item when those are received in the customer facility is still a very applicable and an important use case and scenario. The Elara, especially as a plug and play type of reader that you can place on a desktop, is a great way for somebody to make sure that they have capabilities at different workstations to add and apply RFID tags to items. And of course, as I mentioned before, when a customer is looking to RFID enable or optimize their workflow by automating things, but they have constraints and they don't want to change their whole system, the Elara, because it's a plug and play reader, it acts as a keyboard wedge device, allows you to add that automation without radically changing your design. In this slide, I'm sharing the SKUs that we have made available to purchase and to sell. And I want to talk a little bit about what's included in those. The first two top SKUs are for EL6e and the two configurations that I mentioned. So there is a USB version of EL6e as well as a serial version of EL6e RS232. The standard SKU for those does not include an antenna. So if you look at the top right corner, you'll see photos of both of the EL6e smart modules there without the antenna. We do also offer a development kit for the EL6e. Currently, the development kit is for the USB version of the module, which really makes it easy for somebody to start testing and developing their system with a simple USB interface. We will be looking to add the other interface options in the near future, but at the moment we have the USB only development kit. And you see what's included in that in the bottom right corner. So that's the USB version of the EL6e. Comes with both an antenna that's intended for the EU region, as well as an antenna that's intended for the North America region. So based on where you're located or where your customer is located, they would plug in the applicable antenna for them. We also have a USB cable, a Y adapter, and a sample packet of tags so that the customer can start testing out the capability and seeing which workflows are best suited for their scenario. The next two items are the antenna kits that I mentioned and that you've seen and plugged into the reader in some of the pictures. And there's two kits, one for an EU regional antenna and one for a North America regional antenna. And it does come with hardware as well. So if you're looking to mount that on top of the EL6e, as we've seen in some of the pictures, and you can see in the bottom right corner, the antenna is sized very nicely so that it all fits into that one compact footprint. The mounting hardware is included in it as well. And then we have the Elara finished reader, the USB reader product. And here we also have two configurations. We have not created precise regional SKUs for the Elara, but rather there's two frequency bands available. There is the high frequency band operating between 915 to 928 megahertz, and there's the low frequency band, 865 to 868 megahertz. And depending on exactly which country or which region your customer is in, that's the specific configuration that you would use and recommend. And it comes with the specific antenna for that frequency band. So the high frequency band will be most likely the North American customers, and the low frequency band will be for our European partners and customers. And the last item that you see on the list is a USB-Y cable adapter. Now, this is an accessory that can go with either the EL6e or the Elara. I'm guessing that will be more frequently sold and purchased with the Elara. It is an optional item, and it's really intended to help customers that are looking to get the maximum read range out of that system. So we mentioned that we can go up to 2 meters with a typical tag. And if plugged into a PC or a laptop, typically we can get the right amount of power from a single USB connection. But if for some reason the power is limited and you are not getting the read range that you're looking for, the Y cable adapter allows you to separate out the power and the communication ports. So you will be able to utilize 2 ports on your PC or your laptop and ensure that you can get maximum read range out of your reader. Here again, I've got a picture. So if you already have in your hands some demo units or you've seen the EL6e, as you're looking at the product, some tips and simple ways to be able to identify which configuration you have. On the top, you see the USB version. So really the area that helps to identify that this is a USB version is inside that square here. The RS-232 has quite a lot of more components installed there versus a USB. So that's a simple trick to be able to identify the configuration. If for some reason the part number label is no longer attached, or if it's a demo unit that didn't quite have all of the necessary information included. For the antennas, there's also some tricks to be able to identify them. Now they do come stamped with a name on the top, so typically you wouldn't need those tricks. But as you pay attention to the edges of the antenna, you see a difference in pattern to be able to identify a North America configuration and an EU antenna. I will briefly also talk about pricing, very important for any kind of product that we're looking to sell, right? The pricing here is really the suggested list price, or MSRP. As a channel partner, the applicable pricing that you will pay for JDAC depends on the category that the product falls in and whether you're categorized as a reseller or a distributor. So please make sure that you understand those things individually with the account manager that helps you. From a list price perspective, the EL6e, depending on the configuration, is either $329 or $349. The development kit is $795. The antenna options are $50 regardless of the region. And then for Elara, the same thing, regardless of whether it's a high band configuration or low band configuration, the pricing is the same, $475. And just as a comparison point, I'll show you how the product compares to the USB Pro. So it's very close to, but slightly below the pricing of the USB Pro, which in our Q1 price list was $495. And that Y cable adapter that I mentioned, the accessory option, that is list price at $35. Okay, so how do we talk about these products in the ThingMagic Rain RFID product line? ThingMagic actually, as I mentioned in the very beginning, now encompasses all of our RFID products, which includes HF products as well. But here we're really talking about UHF or RAIN RFID. And so in the UHF category, of course, we have our discrete module products. And then in the finished reader category, we have for USB reader, active our USB Pro product. And that product is not going obsolete. It is not being replaced by the Elara, but they do have very distinct differences and scenarios where one is more powerful versus the other. And I'm going to talk about that. And then of course, we also have our high performance finished readers, the 4-port IZAR, as well as the 2-port Sargus, and our all-in-one reader, the Astra. So the EL6e and Elara are that middle point, bridging the gap between our modules and our finished reader products. USB Pro has been a very, very successful and powerful option for anybody up to date that's really been looking to simply add RFID to their system. And when we compare the USB Pro to Elara, I mentioned that they have distinct scenarios where each are, I would say, a better recommendation for the end customer than the other. So both of the products will continue to exist and be offered and supported and continue to be enhanced side by side. So one is not really replacing the other. But I want to make sure that you understand what are the situations where one might be recommended over the other. The Elara's real key value proposition is the fact that it is a plug and play reader. So where it stands out for the end customer is the fact that it offers the keyboard emulation capability, which means that you can really operate the Elara without having to upgrade your application software. You can plug it in and start streaming data into Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel is just a very, very simple explanation of that. It comes with the autonomous workflow capability. So it really takes the programming and RFID know-how off of the shoulders of the customer. And it's among the first products in the market to support the RAIN communication interface. So from a programming perspective, anybody that is looking to work with it on a program language basis, it supports RCI. Now, the USB Pro, on the other hand, it has an additional antenna port versus the Elara. So in addition to the integrated antenna, you can install an external antenna to the USB Pro, which provides some options for additional range above and beyond what we can do with the Elara. And in addition to the range, we have the full Mercury API available for the USB Pro. And with that, we also have the custom protocols that we've developed over the years to support different scenarios, such as IPX, as an example. Those custom protocols are available on the USB Pro, but not available for the Elara. And of course, from a user indicator perspective, both of them have 2 LEDs, but the USB Pro also has switches so that you can physically interact with the product. The Elara has the LEDs and the buzzer, but there's no physical interaction point on the product. In summary, I would say the Elara is really intended for those plug and play applications, customers that are trying to get up and running really quickly and need a fully self-contained solution for RFID. The USB Pro can provide more range. It can support a second external antenna, and it really allows you to do more complex and more customized integrations because it supports the Mercury API and because it can support all the different custom protocols that we have. And then similarly, while I say that the EL6e is not a module, I talked about it earlier as a smart module. I did want to do a brief comparison to the other ThingMagic modules, and especially you can look at the other modules with an option that we sell, which is the module on a carrier board. And so how does that compare? but the story is actually quite similar. Of course, the antenna port that we've included with the EL6e, that's one difference. But the main difference is in terms of how you interface with the product. None of our other modules, the Nano itself, the Nano on a carrier board, the Micro LTE, or the M6E provide keyboard emulation capability, which is a key aspect of the EL6e. Currently, they do not support the autonomous workflows or RCI. So being able to really design an RFID system quickly and be able to simplify the integration to that RFID system, that's where the EL6e is helpful. And I think that will be very distinct and different from customers that are looking to design a solution where they're embedding the Nano module itself. I think I've said RCI in today's discussion about 20 times. And if you don't know what that stands for, I wanted to explain it a little bit before it's too late. RCI stands for RAIN Communication Interface. And RAIN RFID, of course, is the group that helps to standardize and promote the adoption of UHF or RAIN RFID in the world. So RCI is a communication interface that was introduced in about September of 2018, and EL6e and Elara are amongst the first products to help to support that and help us get into a world where things are more standard for UHF or RAIN RFID. It's a JSON command structure-based language, and really it's a simplified structure compared with LLRP interface. And LLRP is not gone away. It's still supported on our network readers. But what's unique about RCI is also that it includes the ability to interpret data, not simply report it. We are going to have a webinar specifically talking about how to get started using the benefits of RCI and workflows. So a little plug here for that. If you are interested in learning more about that and you haven't registered, there's still plenty of time. We are having our webinar next week on April 17th. But if there's one analogy that I have found really useful about RCI, it's that imagine from a consumer perspective, if you were shopping, but you had to use a different browser for every website that you visit. You would do a lot less shopping just because of the hassle associated. And that analogy is really representative of the RFID ecosystem today. So customers that are looking to use RFID in different ways in their environment are faced with completely different ways of interfacing and interacting with the different readers and different parts of the RFID system. And that makes adoption and taking the advantage of the full capabilities of RFID in a customer's environment very difficult. So RCI is really the answer to help to solve that problem and help us to all use the same structure to talk to different readers and help to improve the implementation of RFID and hopefully increase the number of customer workflows that include RFID as we go forward. One key feature of RCI is the concept of workflows, and it's also a key feature for EL6e and Elara. Currently, as we launch the products, they include 4 basic workflows. And what those are is what we call bulk tag read. In some concepts, it's also called monitor mode. If you're reading RCI documentation, that's the default way that the readers operate when they come out of the box. Bulk tag read is intended to read that small batch of items and tell you what are all the tags that it sees in that batch, and it reports all tags seen once per second. The other modes available are single tag read. I talked earlier about being able to discriminate and be able to tell you just a single item using longer range of UHF RFID. Single tag read only reports the closest tag to the reader based on signal strength, and it reports that every second until you take that tag away and you bring a different tag closer to the reader. There's also workflow for tag commissioning, so that will automatically write some user definable data to the closest tag. So it's similar to single tag read, but it writes to the tag. And then there's automatic tag update. And that allows you to write or update information to every tag that the reader sees. And this can be date and time, counters, the station where the tag was seen. So automatic information that you may want to do as part of your workflow. Now, these are 4 basic workflows that are available with the readers immediately. There is a lot of capability in both products to provide additional and customized workflows. And we intend to create additional standard workflows that can be sold and added to the readers as part of licenses going forward. Now, as you start working with demo units, I just want to make sure that there's one little tip that you know. When you take the readers out of the box and plug them in, because they act as a keyboard device, they will immediately start reading and reporting that information over the HID interface. So if you've got an email open as you're doing your demo, you'll start getting tag information into that email right away. So a quick way to stop the reading without having to open up any kind of program or do anything is 2 presses of caps lock on your keyboard. So that will stop the reader. And then when you're ready to actually do your demonstration and show where you want the data to propagate, then you restart the process by pressing caps lock again. So twice very quickly stops it and twice very quickly starts it again. And as you look at the reader, there's indicators on it. A green LED will tell you that the reader is reading. It'll be rapidly flashing as it's reading tags. Or if it's just idle, it's not seeing any tags, it will be solid green. And the second LED, which is a user LED, will blink blue as it's successfully either reading or writing tags. So that will tell you physically from the reader what's going on. And of course, you'll be hearing the sound beeps as well. Now, there is no API required for these, but for customers that are looking to integrate into a software applications, we've provided RAIN code samples to make that integration simple as well. There's code samples available in the same zip file that you use to download firmware. And the code samples are for each of these 4 workflows that I talked about, and a code sample for how to do reader firmware update. And of course, we'll be adding more samples and more tools as we go along. But right now, as you download the package for the reader, it comes with Java code samples for each of the workflows, as well as on how to do firmware updates. And another helpful tool that comes in that same package is called ThingMagic configuration tool. Or like any vendor, we can't really resist the lure of providing a 3-letter acronym to that. So this one is called the TCT. And the TCT is really intended to help to configure the reader and then enable automatic operation. It's not a tool that you need to use to operate the reader. You can use the TCT to decide whether you want to use the product as a keyboard wedge device, or if you want to use the COM port interface to it. You can adjust the power levels and do other configuration items, and then you can put it away. There is a way that you can see the read results in the TCT as well, just to make sure that everything is working properly. What's not supported by the EL6e and the Elara is our Universal Reader Assistant, another acronym, URA. The URA is for our other modules and reader products, and that is really meant for interactive use, for troubleshooting and optimization of the system, because the EL6e and Elara are really plug and play products, much simpler to integrate. The URA is not intended to work with those products. But I will say that the ThingMagic configuration tool, or TCT, does support our other products as well. It supports the USB Pro and it supports our modules. So as you're starting to get familiar with this tool, you can use it with our other products as well. So a few words about regions and where we can sell the product. Because both the EL6e and the Elara are built on the Nano module as a core part of the architecture, they are also supported by the modular certifications of the ThingMagic Nano. So for EL6e, especially because it's a not an enclosed but a embedded type product, it can ship anywhere where we have modular certifications for the ThingMagic Nano. And the Elara, it depends slightly on the specific country's regulations. Some countries purely opt to use the modular certification of the Nano as well. And in other countries, you may need to do some paperwork to be able to import it. But certainly, it can be shipped anywhere inside the North America, US and Canada, Europe, Japan. And if you have questions about other countries where you think you want to sell it, please do let us know, and we can help you navigate some of those regional certification questions. And from a frequency range support, it's the same story, that it's really supported by all the regions that we have available in the firmware for ThingMagic Nano. The unit for high frequency band for Elara offers all of the same hop tables as we have for the Nano. So you can choose FCC for North America. We have tables for Argentina, Australia, China, Indonesia. There's several tables for Japan, etc. And then for the low frequency band, we have the EL6e band, and as well as Hong Kong, India, Russia, and Vietnam. The EL6e, when it comes out of the box, is really set to an open region, which allows you to then go and configure it further from there. Okay, and hopefully you're excited about the products here and really want to make sure that you and your teams get off the ground quickly and to be able to start using them. I wanted to make sure you knew what are all the tools that we have available to support you in that. As you go to the JDAC website, we do have product pages live for the EL6e and Elara. And on those pages, we have data sheets for both of them. There is a quick start guide for the EL6e. We will be adding a quick start guide for Elara as well. Both products have individual user guides that have both hardware and software information included in them. For EL6e as the embedded module, there's also CAD documents to help your customer integrate that into their end product. There's a download package that includes all of the following. So it includes the latest firmware, the ThingMagic configuration tool, and the code samples. It's all in one package. And then, of course, we have release notes for the firmware and the ThingMagic configuration tool. Available on request to help you set up your catalogs and your websites. We have a document that includes all the key value proposition information, product descriptors, features and benefits that you could easily take and use in your own catalogs. Please let us know if that's something that you would like to receive from us. And as a channel partner, you do also have the option to get a not for resale demo unit at a demo discount. So take advantage of that. In addition to getting a demo unit for you to keep indefinitely, I know our account managers have some demo units and seed units that they'd be happy to share with you and arrange a demo if you haven't seen the product already. So please let us know. And of course, because the products are really resting on the idea that RCI and autonomous workflows help customers get up and running faster in their design, we want to help you talk about the value and benefits of RCI. So here again, a second plug today. If you haven't done so already, join us for the RCI webinar next week. And with that, Justina, do you want to walk us through some of the events that are coming up for JDAC in general?
Yep, absolutely. So if anyone is interested in seeing our capabilities live, we do have a couple of opportunities for you to do so. We'll be at the Embedded Vision Summit in May in California. That is not a really an RFID show, but however, in August we will be at the AACC trade show, which is a huge trade show for us and for RFID. That is in Anaheim, August 4th through 8th. We'll also be at the Medica trade show, co-exhibiting with our sister companies. And that is November 18th through 21st. The booth number and that information is still forthcoming. And as Annika mentioned, we do have an RFID webinar coming up in regards to RCI. That is April 17th, 2019. So if you haven't registered for that, just visit our website and scroll on down and you should be able to see the information to register for that webinar.
And if you'd like to hear me say all the same things all over again, join us tomorrow for our second session of this webinar.
Now,
Great.
if we can move on to the last slide, but before I talk to this slide, I would just like to review some questions that came in. Annika, we did have one question came in, but I believe you answered it throughout your presentation, so I will just move on to the next question, which was, when are these products available to ship?
Both EL6e and Elara are available to ship immediately. I know that some of our distributors have already placed their orders for initial stocking units. So you are able to get your hands on some units from DigiKey and Atlas RFID already. But yeah, working with us directly as well. Products are available to ship now, so we're happy to help you get units in inventory and your demo units as well.
Wonderful. Question came in, is there a fee for the software and setup tools?
No. The ThingMagic configuration tool and the code samples, those are all part of the support package that comes with the product. There's no separate fee for that. I did mention that we intend to make more workflows available in the future. These 4 that are standard with the product are, call it, the most common or basic types of ways that we envision that somebody would use these readers, and we will evolve them over time as well. But I can see that we will create more unique workflows for specific scenarios, and as you get inputs from your customers for that, please do let us know. And those unique workflows would be made available as a license that you would sell in addition to the reader.
All right, I'm just going to give it one more minute to see if any other questions came in, but while I'm waiting for that, I would like to just let everybody know that if you're not in communication with us today and you are in Europe, we are unable to send you a recording of this webinar. So in order to receive the recording, please email us at optin@jdectech.com, indicating that we have permission to send this marketing information to you. However, in efforts to really provide support to you and get this webinar to you, I will work with our European team to make sure that a link to the recording is sent to you individually and not through a marketing program to be in compliance with GDPR. And with that, we do have another question that came in, and the question is it BIS certification required to sell in India?
BIS, I do not believe so, but if you don't mind, Justina, if you just make sure we note the question, and I will double check, unless, of course, we have Dan Ratner on the line, and we don't want to let him be quiet this whole time. Dan, if you already have an answer, feel free to help me. I don't believe that BIS has a separate certification. There may just be some importation paperwork required, but I will double check.
Yeah, usually there is a certification, as a radiating device. There's a separate approval you need in India. Where some countries accept modular approval. I don't believe India does. So we'd have to get a approval for the reader as a radiating device.
Okay, so you believe that there is a separate certification, but we will double check that and get back. get back to you.
Okay. I believe that concludes our questions. If anybody does have any other questions, please feel free to type them in. I will go ahead and conclude the webinar. Thank you everyone for your time today. As I mentioned, we are unable to send the recording of this presentation to any European people on the line if you're not in our system already. So we will work with our European team to make sure you get the video. However, I personally will not be able to send it. And with that, we invite everyone to, visit our website at www.jdectech.com, or anytime you can schedule a Tech Day consultation with us by emailing us at techday@jdectech.com. Thank you everyone for your time and have a great day.